Hey friends, so today I'm going to go over how I made the Daedric Greatsword from Skyrim. This video was supposed to be the video on the LEDs, but I'm out of wire and we have to connect them to the power source still, and I'm not done with connecting all the LEDs yet. So today's going to be the first venture into making the Greatsword. So it's just going to be on the build. I'm actually not completed with it yet. Just touch the ceiling. I still have some stuff to do the handle and I want to touch up the paint just a little bit. I have to milk as many videos as I can out of this build. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the tutorial. So I wanted to print out a pattern of the Greatsword to go directly onto the foam. So I found a top-down view photo of it and I put it in paint.net, rotated it so that it was perfectly straight, copied it, put it in paint, and then went to the page setup in the print settings. And then from there you can actually adjust the size of your print, and I wish I could remember what size I made mine, as this isn't the actual footage of me printing it. It was just something that I redid because I realized I never filmed it in the first place. But I was like, okay, regular paper is 8.5 by 11 inches, so if I wanted it to be about as tall as me, I would need X amount of papers. And so I did some cool math and adjusted the print to that size. You can go into the print preview and check out what your print will look like. This will kind of give you a rough idea of if it's the right size or not. Wow, OBS is so fun. Look how crazy that is. Oh my god, so quirky. So then I cut out the pattern and I taped it all together. Somewhere by the emerald sea, where the moon and water meet, somewhere close to harmony, when the world is sound. Once it was cut out and taped together, I started making the internal support. This weapon is really big, so I needed a lot of internal structure to keep it from flopping around everywhere. I had a large PVC pipe for the handle with 2 dowel rods sticking out and glued in. I had 2 more of those dowel rods on top of those rods at an angle, so in total I actually had 5 support rods. I then heated up my PVC pipe and pressed it a bit to get it a little bit flatter, as the handle actually has some flatness to it. I then put the pattern of the blade onto 10mm foam. This is gonna be a chunky weapon. I pinned it to the foam, traced it, flipped the pattern, pinned, traced, and cut it all out at an angle so that my edges are nice and beveled, and these will actually be sanded later as well. Look at my little helper helping and stuff with her little cute nose. Oh my goodness. Next, I make the pommel out of the same 10mm foam. I cut 2 of them and I will be gluing them together and sanding the heck out of it to make it all round and cute and all cute and stuff. Oh my goodness. So I can't just slap the 2 sides together on top of the support. No, we have to carve out channels and stuff. That way it sits perfectly. So I put the internal structure on each side of the sword and I traced around it so that I know where to cut it out. Wow, look at that heckin' stretch. What a heckin' good stretch. Cute cool shot of protection agent, because what I'm about to do is very toxic. So there are a few ways to carve channels into foam. I'll go over them here. The first is to directly solder them in. This is the least messiest, but the most dangerous. Wear a respirator and do this in a well-ventilated room. It's kind of fast, it's alright. I also check occasionally to see the fit and make sure that the channels are still following the support correctly. The next way to carve the channels is to just Dremel it. This takes forever and is very messy, but it's really good for smoothing everything out if you really want it to be nice and smooth. But the easiest, I feel, is to just carve at an angle. So you'll make 2 cuts, kind of making a V. So you're making 2 beveled cuts towards the same point, basically. And then just pull it and it comes right out. Super easy. This does take a lot of practice. Occasionally you may accidentally cut through the other side of the foam, so it takes practice. But once the channels are cut, I glue everything together. I start by gluing the support onto one side of the sword first, and then I carefully glued the other side on top, making sure to follow the support. That way there's no weird lumps or anything like that, and then I glue the edges down. Next, I make the cover for the handle. This is actually unnecessary because I originally planned to carve the little details into the handle, but I ended up just wrapping it in rope instead, which you won't see here. You'll see that in like the next video. But anyway, I just measured how thick and long the handle was and I just cut it out. Look at Bean in my new lens. She's so magical looking. Oh my goodness. I then heated it up, wrapped it around the handle, and glued it down. I then closed off the bottom of the hilt with some 4mm foam and I glued the pommel on. I then quick sealed all of the edges. You can make quick seal a little easier to blend by putting your finger in some water, then just blending it out. Next, I spent hours sanding the blade to make sure it's nice and sharp, but also at the right angle, because there's like a weird sudden slope on the blade, and then I had to also carve out all those little like barbed pieces, so I just spent a really long time just sanding it. I'm using my rotary tool and a high grit sanding bit. This does create a lot of dust. Make sure to wear a dust mask. Do this outside if you can. I always just vacuum it up once I'm done. Anything that's left over is fine, because we're going to replace the carpet before we sell this place, so I can literally do whatever I want to this carpet. Next, I work on the top part of the blade, which is the raised piece. I just cut it out of 4mm foam and glue it right on top. I then sand the spiky bits to blend them into the blade. Next, I want to mark where some little details will go. These will be sanded with a rounded Dremel bit. Dremel bit? Oh my goodness, my Midwesterner is coming out. And I will be painting that a red to black ombre stuff because no LEDs will go into this sword. That was my original plan, but I'm like, I'm too lazy for this. I love LEDs, but oh, for some reason, I was just like, no. So I am sanding what I marked and stuff, yeah. Next, I solder some detailing into the spikes and the pommel. Once everything is detailed, I use some quick seal to blend any seams. And really, that's it for just the build. I'll be going over how I painted and did the finishing touches in another video, as I'm actually still working on it. So yeah, I cannot wait to finish this. I'm so excited. I really like the way it's come out so far. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I post cool armor builds and stuff. Feel free to check out my Patreon, where I post more behind the scenes and some really fun photos. Even $1 helps me out on there because that's literally like an acrylic paint, and I love paint. Thank you so much to my patrons: Adam Hunt, Aliar, Blue Panda, Calvin Lewis, David Rosenbaum, Eric, Jim W, Kalika Kaiser, Logan Don Carlos, Malvis Meriden, Merkitten, Nathan M, Neem Crane, Nanaman, Robert Gallardo, Sakura, and Veldemir. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!